Hello, this is Brian Hegney, instructor of game design here at High Point University. We are going to use Unreal Engine for the first few weeks of this course to learn how to open a door in a game engine, a AAA game engine that was used to develop Fortnite and many other games. The first thing you need to know is how to install Unreal Engine, and so that's what we are going to look at right now. I'm just going to open up a browser, and honestly, I always go to, or I Google Epic Games Unreal Engine, and you should be able to find, hey, look, there's an ad. Let's go ahead and click on it. What you're going to do is just know, well, I'm signed in, and so you will have to create a username and password. Go ahead and do that if you haven't already. Go ahead and associate it with an email that you will be able to check a lot. We are going to be logging into Unreal Engine, well, I guess for the rest of your life, or at least a lot. So go ahead and download. I guess you can click this big blue download. And what you want is... Sorry, this is different than from when I've downloaded it in the past. I guess you're going to select the publishing license. You don't really have to worry about it at the moment. You won't have to pay anything. If you're lucky, you'll be able to pay. Essentially, you can use Unreal Engine for free, and tons of their content, as they say here, only when you exceed quarterly gross revenues of like $10,000. Or a lifetime of $1 million, it looks like. So if you have to pay them, that would be great. So you go ahead and you blah, 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 read and accept it. I'm not going to do that. Well, let's see what happens. Oh, that's pretty. I love it. It's going to ask you to download it. You're going to download it and install it. I am not going to do that because I have it on my computer already. Once you install it, you're going to click on your start menu and type in Epic Games. It'll go to the Epic Games launcher. There's always free games from Epic Games. There's a ton of free content, and what we're going to do right now is just look at where is the Unreal Engine itself. There's a lot of stuff here going on. On the row to the column to the left, you see Home, Store, Library, Friends, Unreal Engine. We're on that right now. What we want to do is go to the library on the top. All right. Now what you'll see here is that I have 4.22.3, 4.23.1, and a couple other engines. 4.25.3 is the latest engine. And if you don't have that, you're going to want to add that. Now, I'm not going to delete mine, but you can delete any of these as well. And you can add them, like, let's say I want like one of the first versions of the engines. I can click this little plus button under engine versions and click this little drop down, and I could go all the way to 4.02 if I wanted to. I'm not going to right now. Maybe I'll do that later for fun to see what was going on back then. Click here. All right, and the next thing you're going to do once you install that, make sure, I'm going to click this drop down button here under my 4.25. I'm going to click on my options. Make sure you have starter content selected, templates and feature packs, and engine source selected. You don't need anything else evidently, but okay, let me just X out of here. Just make sure you have that. Once you do have that, you're going to be able to launch this, and I'm going to click launch. You could have also launched it from this big button on the top right here as well. And I'm going to pause this while this launches. By the way, while this is working, you'll see this somewhere in the background of your desktop. You will see this beautiful looking rectangle. The splash screen, and it's telling you, that it's loading and stuff like that. I'm going to pause it again, just make sure if you're wondering what's going on, you can always, oh, there it is, good. While I was talking. So one of the things we can do is it's going to tell you if there's been any recent projects that you want to open. And some of these will be grayed out, or like for instance, all of these at the top such as FA 2020 door, right? That's one that I've actually started creating a while ago that we're going to look at. And some of these other ones are from last year. And then it's going to say, hey, if you've got any other ones you can open up, it'll list the version number. So I can open a 4.24 version in this 4.25. The other thing you can do is just start from scratch. And they have all of these are pretty much using the same engine itself. It's just that if you click on film, television, and live events, it's just going to have a few different templates for you to use. You are most likely going to use games. So let's go ahead and click games and click next down here. Now you could do a blank game, a blank template with nothing in it and build it from scratch. You could also click on first person, and all of these templates are just going to start you out with some characters, blueprints, basic functionality. It's not going to be the game, it's going to be the start to a game, and it's your job to kind of change out the assets and make it fun. Okay, let's go ahead and click first person. That's usually the most fun to start with. And I'm going to click next. And here, this is going to be important. We can always change these later. I want you to keep this first one to blueprint. Once you set it to C++, you can never go back to just a blueprint project, but you can always update a blueprint project to a C++ project. We are going to focus on blueprints, which is Unreal Engine's visual scripting method. Maximum quality is fine. Again, we can change these to later on. Desktop console instead of mobile tablet, we can change that. And let's go ahead and use no starter content. That's fine. The next thing you're going to look at is where is it going to install it. So most often, things are going to be in an Unreal Projects folder. And mine is slightly different because I wanted it to be in a different hard drive. Yours is probably going to be C, users, your name, documents, Unreal Projects. That's a perfect place for it, and I would keep it there if I were you. I'll just call this example. Yeah. And it's possible to do that. Okay, so I'm going to say create project. I know where it's being located. I know what its name is. I'm going to create it. And again, it's going to go through this little rigmarole, and I'm going to pause this while it loads that project. All right, and here it is, ready to go, ready to start working on your first-person shooter game. I'm going to close this now and show you the second way you may have to get to the engine. Because, I'm going to close this now, because, let's say, okay. Sometimes, thank you, the launcher just opens back up. Sometimes, like in our classroom, these are not going to work, or they might be there and like they just might not work for you. This is a known issue. I've asked them. They're going to fix it later on. Or they might even be missing. And you don't have to install them. I've checked our classroom. So what you can do then, write this down and remember how to do this. I'm going to click my Windows Explorer button, and I'm going to go to, you're going to go to C, Program Files, and look for Epic Games, okay? So what I'm showing you is slightly different. This is where you would find yours. Now, I've installed Epic Games onto a different drive, so from here on out, it'll be slightly different. But you'd go to C, Windows C, Program Files, Epic Games. I'm going to go to D, Epic Games. Oops, nope. Program Files, Epic Games. And this is where it will be the same for you. I've got, oh, Alan Wake is there, interesting. But here is where I have all of the folders for the engines that I've installed. And you realize I've got 4.22, 23, 24, 25. Well, guess what? 4.22, 23, 24, 25. So this launch button actually goes into the 4.25 folder. So on our school computers, these folders do in fact exist. And I'm going to go into 4.25. I'm going to go into Engine. I'm going to go into Binaries. Win64. And now we're going to get to where we need to be. And I want you to organize the files by type. Just click the type button, and all of these Unreal Engine file types should be pull up to the top. And if they're not there, if they're at the bottom, then click it again and it'll switch it. And what we're going to do is double-click UE4editor.exe. Now, if you don't see UE4editor.exe, because your computers like to hide the exe buttons, just note, if you click on View in your Windows Explorer, oftentimes by default it's set to hide file name extensions. And so if this was clicked off, like, you might not see UE4editor.exe. I find that really weird because I like to know if my project files are, or my files are EXEs, MSIs, JPGs, right? So I like to just make sure I can see the file extension. There it is, UE4editor.exe, and if you double-click that, it's going to be just like going through the launcher to launch 4.25. And here we go. All right, so that's it. That's how we start up Unreal Engine. In the next video, we are going to look at what we can actually do with the engine. Okay, bye.